There's a service counter inside almost every Walmart in the country that quietly gives away something worth nearly 15 times what most shoppers assume it costs, and most seniors walk right past it every single week without ever asking. We've talked before about hidden deals and discounts, but this time, we're focusing specifically on things that cost absolutely nothing, services and small perks that Walmart already offers but rarely advertises out loud. Today we're covering 12 more things Walmart will give you for free if you simply know how to ask, and honestly, number 8 surprised me the most when I first learned about it. If you find this kind of practical, money-saving information useful, consider subscribing. It really does help this channel keep making videos just like this one, and it costs you nothing at all. Let's get into it. Most people know Walmart has electric carts sitting near the entrance, but many seniors don't realize there's no fee, no deposit, and no time limit attached to using one. A comparable mobility scooter rental from a medical supply store can run you $15 to $25 for a single afternoon, and some rental companies charge as much as $40 for a full day. At Walmart, it's simply available, free, for as long as your shopping trip takes. Employees say the carts are kept charged specifically because store management wants seniors and disabled shoppers to feel comfortable browsing the entire store without pain or fatigue. Many people report that this one convenience is the difference between skipping a shopping trip entirely and actually being able to get everything on their list in one visit. Beyond the financial comparison, there's a quieter benefit here too. Many seniors say they've avoided asking family members for help with shopping trips, specifically because the electric cart lets them stay independent a little longer, and that sense of independence tends to matter just as much as the physical relief. Some regular shoppers even mentioned that once they got comfortable using a cart, they started shopping more often instead of stockpiling groceries to avoid multiple trips, which often means fresher food and less waste at home. The honest caveat here is that carts are first come, first served, and on busy weekend mornings they can run out, especially in smaller stores. The bonus tip is to call the store ahead of time or shop early on a weekday morning when carts are almost always available and the store itself is quieter and easier to navigate. Now, that convenience is nice, but the next item on this list is something that can genuinely protect your health, and it costs nothing at all. Inside many Walmart pharmacies, there's a blood pressure monitoring station, and in-store pharmacy staff are often willing to walk a customer through a quick reading if the machine seems confusing. A comparable at-home blood pressure monitor from a pharmacy shelf costs anywhere from $20 to $60, and a doctor's office visit purely for a pressure check, if billed separately, can run over $100 depending on your insurance situation. Customers often notice that the machine itself is simple, but having a pharmacist nearby to explain what the numbers actually mean turns a basic reading into something genuinely useful. For seniors managing hypertension, this is a quick way to keep an eye on things between doctor visits, especially for those who feel anxious about their numbers and want reassurance more often than a monthly appointment allows. Many seniors mention that they simply feel more comfortable stepping onto a machine at the store than making a special trip to a clinic just for a number. There's less pressure, no appointment to schedule, and no waiting room, which for some people means they actually check their blood pressure regularly instead of putting it off for months at a time. Employees say they've seen customers turn this into a small weekly habit, checking their numbers right after picking up a prescription refill, which keeps the routine simple and easy to remember. The downside worth mentioning honestly is that these machines are not a replacement for a real diagnostic checkup, and readings can vary depending on stress, caffeine, or how recently you walked into the store. The bonus tip is to take your reading at the same time of day on repeat visits, since consistency matters more than any single number. Speaking of the pharmacy, there's a service tucked right next to it that a lot of longtime customers still don't know exists. Many seniors juggle 5, 6, or more prescriptions at once, and Walmart pharmacists are available for a free one-on-one consultation to walk through interactions, timing, and side effects. A private medication review through some clinics or specialty pharmacies can cost $30 to $75 if billed as a standalone consultation service. Employees say pharmacists genuinely want to catch dangerous drug interactions before they become a problem, and many are trained specifically to flag combinations that a busy doctor's office might overlook during a short appointment. For a senior managing a parent's medications or their own long list of prescriptions, sitting down with a pharmacist for 10 quiet minutes can bring real peace of mind. Families managing care for an aging parent often say this consultation becomes especially valuable when a new prescription gets added after a hospital stay, since that's exactly when dangerous interactions are most likely to slip through the cracks between different doctors. A pharmacist who takes the time to walk through a full list can catch something as simple as 2 medications that shouldn't be taken within a few hours of each other, which a rushed specialist appointment might not have time to cover. The honest caveat is that pharmacists are busy, especially during afternoon rush hours, so this isn't always a long, relaxed conversation unless you plan around it. The bonus tip is to call ahead and ask when the pharmacy tends to be slowest, usually early morning right after opening, and request a few minutes with the pharmacist directly rather than just dropping by. That's a service most people never think to ask for, but the next one involves something almost everyone eventually needs and rarely expects to get for free. Beyond the electric carts, most Walmart locations also keep a small number of manual wheelchairs near customer service that shoppers can borrow for the duration of their visit. Buying even a basic folding wheelchair from a medical supply retailer typically costs $70 to $150, and renting one from a mobility equipment company can be $15 to $30 per day. Many people report that having a family member push a wheelchair, rather than relying solely on an electric cart, makes shopping trips feel more like a family outing and less like a medical errand, which matters more emotionally than people expect. It's a small thing, but for a senior recovering from surgery or dealing with a temporary mobility issue, it removes one more barrier to simply getting outside and being around people. Many people report that this option becomes especially meaningful right after a hospital discharge, when a senior might be cleared to go home but still isn't strong enough for a long walk through a large store. Having a wheelchair available on the spot means a family doesn't have to delay a necessary grocery run or postpone picking up a new prescription just because mobility hasn't fully returned yet. The caveat is that not every store stocks these, and inventory really does vary by location and how well maintained the wheelchairs happen to be. The bonus tip is to ask a greeter or customer service associate directly, since these wheelchairs aren't usually displayed prominently, and staff sometimes keep them in a back area specifically to prevent theft. Now here's one that has nothing to do with mobility, but almost everything to do with saving money on something seniors buy constantly. If an item you bought drops in price shortly after your purchase, many Walmart locations will honor a price adjustment if you bring your receipt back within a specific window, often about 7 to 14 days depending on the store. Compare that to Target, where price adjustment policies exist but are handled more strictly through the app, or Amazon, which almost never adjusts pricing after the fact for third-party sellers. Customers often notice that the savings on any single item might only be $1 or $2, but for seniors on a fixed income who shop the same stores weekly for staple goods, those small adjustments add up meaningfully across a year. It's a policy most people simply never ask about because they assume once you've paid, that's the final price. Customers on a tight monthly budget often mention that this habit turns grocery shopping into something closer to an ongoing conversation with the store rather than a one-time transaction. Once you get comfortable asking about a recent price drop, it stops feeling awkward and starts feeling like a normal part of shopping smart, the same way clipping a coupon used to feel routine for an earlier generation of shoppers. The honest downside is that this policy is inconsistently enforced and depends heavily on which associate you speak with and which store you're in, so results can vary. The bonus tip is to always keep your receipts in one place for at least 2 weeks and glance at the weekly ad before throwing them away. That's a small win on its own, but paired with the next item, it becomes a genuinely powerful money-saving combination. Walmart's online grocery pickup service allows you to order groceries from home and have an employee shop and load them into your car at no service fee for basic pickup orders. A comparable service through Instacart typically adds a delivery fee plus a service fee that can total $10 to $15 per order, and some grocery delivery apps charge even more during peak hours. Employees say this service was originally designed with convenience in mind, but it's become especially valuable for seniors who have difficulty walking long store aisles or lifting heavy items like water cases and pet food. For someone managing arthritis or limited stamina, ordering online and having someone else do the walking and lifting can be the difference between an exhausting outing and an easy 15-minute stop. Adult children living far from an aging parent often say this service gives them real peace of mind, since it can be set up remotely, ordered from another state, and scheduled for a specific pickup window that a parent can simply drive up to without ever leaving the car. It turns what used to require a phone call and a favor from a neighbor into something a family can quietly handle from a distance, week after week, without anyone feeling like a burden. Some families even take turns placing the order each month, splitting the responsibility so no single person carries the whole load of remembering what's needed and when. The caveat here is that substitutions sometimes happen if an item is out of stock, and not every associate picks produce as carefully as you might yourself. The bonus tip is to leave detailed notes in the app for produce or meat selections, since most pickers genuinely do read them and will pick more carefully when asked. That service saves your body some effort, but the next item on this list can save your eyesight some real strain. Many Walmart Vision Centers offer a quick, free basic vision screening to help you decide whether a full eye exam is necessary, separate from the full comprehensive exam that does carry a fee. A full eye exam at a private optometry office often runs between $75 and $200 without insurance, so even a preliminary screening can help you figure out whether that expense is truly needed right now. Many people report that this screening is especially useful for seniors who've noticed subtle changes in their vision but aren't sure if it's serious enough to book a full appointment. It removes some of the guesswork and anxiety around whether a change in eyesight is normal aging or something that needs closer attention. This is particularly useful for seniors who've been putting off buying reading glasses because they weren't sure their prescription had actually changed. A quick screening can confirm whether it's time to update a pair of glasses or whether the blurriness they've noticed is more likely tied to something like dry eyes or simple eye strain from screen time, which doesn't necessarily require a new prescription at all. The honest caveat is that a basic screening is not a substitute for a full comprehensive eye exam, especially for anyone managing diabetes or a family history of glaucoma. The bonus tip is to ask the Vision Center directly what the screening does and does not cover, since offerings can differ slightly store to store. Vision matters, but so does something a lot of seniors overlook entirely, and it's sitting right at the front of the store. This is the one that surprised me the most. Many Walmart customer service desks will give out a free balloon, and sometimes a small treat, to grandchildren or great-grandchildren accompanying a senior shopper, especially around holidays. A balloon from a party store or florist typically costs $3 to $6 on its own. Customers often notice this small gesture makes shopping trips with grandchildren noticeably smoother, since a child excited about a balloon is a child far less likely to have a meltdown in the cereal aisle. For grandparents who regularly babysit or run errands with young grandchildren, this tiny detail can turn a stressful outing into a genuinely pleasant one. Grandparents who regularly handle school pickups or weekend visits often say these tiny moments end up being what the grandchildren actually remember about the trip, more than anything that was purchased. It costs the store almost nothing, but it buys a few extra minutes of a calm, cooperative child, which for anyone who has ever shopped with a restless 5-year-old is worth far more than the balloon itself. The caveat is that this isn't an official, guaranteed policy everywhere. It really depends on the store's supply and the individual employee's willingness to offer it. The bonus tip is to simply ask politely at customer service. Most associates are happy to help if they have balloons on hand and see a child close by. That's a sweet one, but the next item is far more practical and can genuinely protect your home. Walmart accepts certain batteries and, in many locations, old plastic bags for recycling at no charge, and some stores also take back certain light bulbs. Paying for proper battery disposal through a specialty hazardous waste facility can cost anywhere from a few dollars per item to a flat drop-off fee depending on your city's regulations. Employees say this program exists partly for environmental compliance, but it's genuinely useful for seniors who've accumulated old batteries from hearing aids, remote controls, and flashlights and don't know how to dispose of them safely. It also gives an easy answer to the common worry about whether it's even legal to just throw batteries in the regular trash. Seniors living in smaller towns without a dedicated recycling center often say this is the only convenient option they have nearby, since driving 30 minutes to a hazardous waste facility for a handful of hearing aid batteries simply isn't practical. Being able to drop them off during a regular shopping trip, rather than making a separate errand out of it, quietly removes one more thing from an already long to-do list. The honest downside is that not every type of battery is accepted everywhere, and the bins can sometimes be tucked away near customer service where they're easy to miss. The bonus tip is to call ahead and ask which battery types they currently accept, since programs occasionally change based on local recycling partnerships. That's a practical one for your home. But the next item is about protecting your wallet from a mistake almost everyone eventually makes. At some Walmart locations, if an item fails to scan correctly at self-checkout and the price rings up wrong in the store's favor, associates are trained to simply give you that item for free rather than delay your checkout troubleshooting the register. This isn't identical to the well-known scanner guarantee some other retailers use, but many people report similar experiences when a price genuinely doesn't match the shelf tag. Customers often notice that raising the issue calmly with an associate, rather than getting frustrated at the machine, tends to get a faster and friendlier resolution. For seniors who feel uneasy about self-checkout screens in general, knowing that a scanning mistake works in your favor rather than against you can make the whole process feel less intimidating. Many seniors say self-checkout itself already feels stressful enough without worrying about being overcharged on top of it, so simply understanding this policy tends to lower the anxiety around using those machines in the first place. Knowing that a mistake usually works out in your favor, rather than against you, changes the entire experience from something to dread into something that's genuinely no more complicated than a regular checkout line. The caveat worth stating plainly is that this is not a guaranteed, company-wide written policy, and it depends heavily on the store manager's approach and the specific situation. The bonus tip is to always check your receipt before leaving, since catching an error immediately makes any resolution far easier than trying to fix it after you've already left the parking lot. That one's situational, but the next item is something almost every senior shopper interacts with weekly without realizing there's a free option available. Walmart's Photo Center periodically runs promotions offering a small number of completely free prints through their app or website, typically requiring just a small shipping or pickup arrangement. Printing the same number of photos at a specialty photo lab or drugstore kiosk without a promotion can cost anywhere from 30 cents to $1 per print, which adds up quickly for anyone printing family photos regularly. Many people report that grandparents especially appreciate this because printed photos of grandchildren still feel more meaningful sitting on a shelf or in a frame than scrolling through a phone. For a senior who isn't especially comfortable with technology, having a simple in-app process to turn phone photos into real prints removes a barrier that used to require a computer and a separate photo printer. Many people report that printing photos this way has become a small tradition, ordering a fresh batch every few months just to update a frame on the mantle or send a few prints to a sibling who lives out of state. For a generation that grew up with physical photo albums, having something tangible to hold on to still carries a kind of weight that a phone screen simply doesn't replicate. The honest downside is that these free print promotions rotate and aren't always active, so timing does matter. The bonus tip is to check the Walmart Photo Center page around major holidays, since free print promotions tend to appear most often around Mother's Day, Father's Day, and the winter holiday season. That's a nice one for the whole family, but the final item on this list ties everything together and might be the most valuable of all. Certain Walmart pharmacy locations offer free prescription delivery for eligible medications, particularly for seniors who qualify through specific insurance plans or store-specific delivery programs. Paying for prescription delivery through some independent pharmacies or delivery services can run anywhere from $5 to $10 per delivery, which becomes a real recurring cost for anyone on multiple monthly medications. Employees say this option exists specifically to help seniors who have difficulty driving, especially during bad weather or after a medical procedure that limits mobility temporarily. For a senior living alone, having medication arrive at the door rather than requiring a drive to the pharmacy counter can mean never running the risk of missing a dose because a trip felt too difficult that day. Families who live nearby but work full-time often say this service quietly takes one worry off their plate, since they no longer have to rearrange a lunch break just to swing by the pharmacy for a parent. It's the kind of thing that doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, but adds up to real reassurance over months and years of managing ongoing prescriptions, especially for a chronic condition that requires the same refill month after month without fail. The caveat here is genuinely important, because eligibility depends on your specific insurance plan, your location, and sometimes the specific medication itself, so it is not guaranteed for everyone. The bonus tip is to call your local pharmacy directly and simply ask whether free delivery is available for your prescriptions, since many seniors qualify without ever realizing it because no one told them to ask. So that's 12 more things Walmart will genuinely give you for free if you simply know to ask, from mobility help and health screenings to small conveniences that make weekly shopping easier on both your body and your budget. What ties all 12 of these together is that none of them require a special membership, a hidden coupon code, or any kind of insider trick. They simply require a willingness to ask a question at the counter that most people walk right past without a second thought. Personally, I think the medication consultation and the free prescription delivery are the two most valuable items on this entire list, because they touch on both safety and independence, which matter more as we get older than almost anything else on a shopping list. If there's one spending trap worth watching out for, it's assuming that because a service exists in one Walmart, it automatically exists in every Walmart. Policies, promotions, and even basic amenities like wheelchair availability can vary significantly from store to store, so the biggest mistake is simply not asking. Employees consistently say that seniors who ask questions at customer service or the pharmacy counter get more help than those who assume the answer is no before they even try. Another spending trap worth mentioning is assuming that free automatically means lower quality or not worth your time. A free blood pressure reading, a free medication consultation, or a free basic vision screening can genuinely catch something worth knowing about, and dismissing them simply because there's no price tag attached is a mistake a lot of people make without realizing it. The value of these services was never about the dollar amount. It was always about removing small barriers that otherwise keep people from taking care of themselves and their families the way they'd like to. It's also worth remembering that most of these services exist because someone, somewhere, asked for them first. Store policies around wheelchairs, price adjustments, and pharmacy consultations often become more consistent and more widely available, specifically because customers keep requesting them. So speaking up isn't just about getting help for yourself today. It can genuinely shape what's available for the next person who walks through those doors. If this video helped you find even one thing you didn't know you could get for free, please consider giving it a like and subscribing for more videos just like this one. And I'd love to know in the comments, which one of these 12 surprised you the most, and is there a free Walmart service near you that we didn't cover here today? Maybe it's something specific to your local store, a policy your regular pharmacist mentioned in passing, or a small kindness from an associate that made your day a little easier. Those are exactly the kinds of details that help other people in this community, so don't hesitate to share them below, even if you're not sure whether it counts as a big enough tip to mention. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.